Tesla's build quality is shocking, and its response was worse. It's almost laughable how Tesla pushes this narrative that their cars are the pinnacle of automotive excellence, but let's be real. Once you peel back the glossy marketing and shiny promises, the cracks start to show, literally. Owners have been calling out Tesla's build quality for years, from poorly aligned panels to doors that don't shut right. And that's just scratching the surface. In this video, we'll get into the terrible build of Tesla vehicles, the star child of the EV industry, and the abysmal response to these complaints by the company. Frequent component failures. When you think about the car industry, one of the things that stands out is how automakers have spent decades refining basic components like suspensions and drive shafts. You'd expect that in a company claiming to be the future of driving, these parts would be rock solid, right? Wrong. In Tesla's case, the story seems to be a little different. These basic components, which other automakers have mastered long ago, are failing at an alarming rate in Tesla vehicles. You don't have to dig too deep to find Tesla owners who have experienced these problems firsthand. Some of the stories are downright scary. Imagine buying a brand new car only to have its wheels literally fall off while you're driving. Or picture a suspension system giving out after barely any miles. These aren't isolated cases either. They keep popping up. One particularly alarming case involved a Tesla owner in England. After just 115 miles of driving, basically brand new, the suspension collapsed. Let that sink in. The car didn't even make it past the first 150 miles before a major failure happened. And Tesla's response? You guessed it. Blame the driver. Blame the road. Blame anything but the subpar build quality. Widespread problems. It's not just the occasional unlucky Tesla owner dealing with a faulty suspension or a drive shaft failure. We're talking about tens of thousands of people reporting similar issues across the board. It's shocking, really, how widespread these problems are, and what's even worse, these issues go back at least 7 years. For nearly a decade, Tesla's been pumping out vehicles with major part failures, yet they're still riding high on their image as the future of the auto industry. If any other car company had this many defects, it would be front-page news, but for some reason, Tesla seems to escape the same scrutiny. This isn't just about the occasional recall. We're talking about systemic problems affecting a large portion of Tesla's lineup, and it's not just isolated to one model or one region. This is happening to Tesla drivers worldwide. Despite all of this, Tesla has been shockingly quiet when it comes to owning up to these issues. While their loyal fan base might be willing to overlook these failures, the reality is that for the average driver, a car that can't keep its wheels on or has parts that fail after a few months is downright unacceptable. Internal documents from Tesla, spanning from 2016 to 2022, show that they've been fully aware of these problems all along. Steering racks, axle shifts, and control arms, parts that are essential to the safe operation of any vehicle, have been failing consistently across Tesla models. And Tesla knew. They had the data, the reports, and the complaints, and still chose not to disclose the full extent of the problem to regulators. For a company that prides itself on transparency and innovation, this is a pretty big red flag. Tesla has always positioned itself as a disruptor, shaking up the traditional auto industry. But here's the thing. With that comes responsibility. If they want to claim that they're the future of the automotive world, they cannot ignore safety issues that put their drivers at risk. Yet, that's exactly what they've done. What's worse is that these problems aren't limited to a specific model or a particular batch of cars. They span multiple years and models, affecting drivers globally. The internal records make it clear Tesla's been aware of these failures but has consistently failed to address them adequately. Instead of issuing broad recalls or redesigning faulty parts, they've kept much of this information under wraps, leaving regulators and, more importantly, their customers in the dark. It's one thing to have a few manufacturing defects. It happens to every automaker. But when you have tens of thousands of cars suffering from critical part failures and a company that hides the truth, it's a whole different story. Tesla's refusal to be transparent about these problems only deepens the sense of betrayal for many owners. For a brand that talks so much about leading the industry, they seem to be falling short in the most fundamental way, keeping their customers safe and informed. Ongoing issues and costly repairs. For many Tesla owners, the nightmare doesn't end with part failures. It gets even worse when they're hit with the hefty repair bills that come along with those failures, often after the warranty has expired. We're not talking about small fixes either. These are significant, costly repairs that can drain your bank account just to keep the car on the road. Take one Tesla owner, for example, who was left with a jaw-dropping $10,000 bill for suspension and drive axle repairs after his warranty ran out. Imagine paying a premium for what's marketed as a cutting-edge vehicle, only to be forced to fork over that kind of cash to fix components that should have been designed and built to last. It is absurd. This isn't just a one-off incident either. With Tesla's widespread build quality issues, plenty of owners find themselves in similar situations, shelling out thousands of dollars to fix basic components that should never have failed in the first place. What's truly alarming is that these repairs aren't just expensive, they're often recurring. Some owners report that after replacing one faulty component, another critical part fails shortly afterward. It's like a game of whack-a-mole with Tesla's defective parts. You fix one thing and something else goes wrong, leaving owners in a constant cycle of costly repairs. For a company that claims to be redefining the automotive industry, Tesla's build quality issues and lack of accountability are putting their customers in a financial bind. The result? Well, many Tesla owners are left feeling trapped. They've invested heavily in a brand they believed was the future, only to find themselves footing the bill for what amounts to shoddy workmanship. And because of the unique nature of Tesla's electric vehicle design, repairs often need to be done at Tesla's own service centers, limiting owners' options and driving repair costs even higher. Independent mechanics aren't always equipped to handle Tesla's specialized systems, meaning Tesla has even more control over how much their customers have to pay for repairs. Tesla's handling of complaints. One of the most frustrating things for Tesla owners isn't just dealing with part failures themselves, it's how the company responds when these problems are brought to their attention. Instead of stepping up and taking responsibility, Tesla seems to go out of its way to shift the blame back onto the customers. Whether it's a suspension failure, an axle shift issue, or something as serious as a wheel falling off, Tesla's standard response is to tell the driver that it's their fault. The company points fingers at the way the car was driven or claims that environmental factors like road conditions are to blame, as if every Tesla owner is out there recklessly driving on rough terrain. This approach is not only dismissive, but downright insulting. Customers aren't paying a premium price for an electric vehicle just to be told that they're at fault when the car fails to function as expected. For a company that's constantly touting innovation and safety, Tesla's refusal to acknowledge defects in their vehicles is a slap in the face to their customers. And let's be real, how many other automakers blame drivers for their own defective parts? Tesla seems to think it's above the basic standards of customer service that the rest of the auto industry follows. Rather than stand by their product and offer solutions, they'd rather gaslight their customers into believing that they're the problem. If you thought Tesla's handling of complaints was bad, it gets worse. Reuters uncovered that Tesla had gone as far as to create a secret team whose sole purpose was to divert customer complaints about vehicle range. This team wasn't focused on solving the issues or improving the product. They were tasked with making the complaints disappear. Think about that for a second. Rather than address the underlying problems or engage with customers in good faith, Tesla was more interested in covering their tracks. This secret team's existence shows a disturbing pattern of behavior. Tesla isn't just unwilling to take responsibility, they're actively working to sweep customer dissatisfaction under the rug. What does it say about a company when it prioritizes its image over the safety and satisfaction of its customers? Tesla clearly doesn't want the bad press that comes with widespread complaints about vehicle range, so instead of fixing the issue, they try to make it go away. It is a corporate strategy built on deception, and it completely undermines any trust that customers might have in the brand. Tesla's handling of complaints, coupled with the existence of its secret team to dodge issues, paints a picture of a company more focused on protecting its bottom line than building safe, reliable cars. The fact that they go out of their way to blame customers for part failures, despite knowing full well that these parts are defective, is an insult to the people who trusted them. Instead of owning up to their mistakes and fixing all the problems, Tesla doubles down, leaving owners to foot the bill for repairs that should have never been necessary in the first place. In the end, Tesla's response to these issues reveals a company that cares more about appearances than accountability. They're not leading the future of driving. They're just dodging responsibility, all the while their customers suffer the consequences. It's a clear case of a company that's become too big for its own good, too focused on growth, hype, and profit to bother with something as simple and basic as quality control and customer care. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos like this.